This video will guide you through the assembly and installation of the PGDTHKX 15-inch and PGDTHKX 30-inch extension handle kits on either the Titan 3200X X Series or 2000X X Series drivers. The process for each kit is the same, only the length of the extension handles and throttle cables vary. These special engineered Nordlock locking washers are essential as a locking mechanism for your handle and must be positioned correctly on the cap screw before assembly. Each washer has a shallow or close and deep or wide serration side. Ensure that the deeper serrations are face to face with each other, leaving the finer serrations facing the outside ends of the bolt. Begin by connecting the three-way coupler to the middle cushion handle. The three-way couplers included in your kit have three different sides: a pipe-threaded side, a threaded side, and a through-hole side. These will be secured with the two shorter M10 by 30mm cap screws fitted with Nordlock washers. Resting both three-way couplers on your work surface allows you to stand them up as you fit your middle handle into the threaded side of the coupler, allowing you easy access to the cap screw openings. Ensure that the middle handle fits into the threaded side of the coupler and that the pipe threading and through-hole sides match for each coupler. Insert the cap screws fitted with Nordlock washers and loosely tighten them, allowing you to make adjustments as you connect the couplers to the other handles. It is now recommended that you invert your driver and rest it on its top with the engine facing away from you. Next, remove the protective caps from the bottom of the driver and orient the center handle with the through bolts making contact with the driver. Secure the center handle with two M10 40mm cap screws fitted with Nordlock washers. Insert these through the hole in the center of the three-way coupler, then tighten them firmly with your 8mm Allen wrench. If a torque wrench is available, tighten them to 60.5 foot-pounds. Next, return to the cap screws previously installed onto your middle handle. Again, firmly tighten these screws to 60.5 foot-pounds if a torque wrench is available. Now install the extension handles by threading them into the pipe-threaded side of the three-way coupler. The extension handle with a throttle is installed on the same side as the driver throttle. The driver can also be oriented horizontally, rested on its middle handle if this is more convenient for installation. Firmly tighten the extensions until secure. If the throttle isn't properly aligned after tightening the extension handle, you can use the Allen wrench that was included along with your driver to loosen these two screws, and then rotate and resecure the throttle. Now install the bottom handle. First, install the two bottom couplers by tightly screwing the pipe threaded opening onto the ends of your extension handles. Next, insert your two remaining M10 40mm cap screws fitted with Nordlock washers into the lower handle. This helps align them with the threads in the bottom couplers. Now, place the lower handle and screws into the couplers with the cushion grip oriented in the same direction as your middle handle and use the 8mm Allen wrench to tighten the cap screws firmly, or to 60.5 foot-pounds of torque. To begin installing the throttle junction box, remove the air filter cover from the engine. With the filter cover removed, use two 10mm wrenches to loosen the throttle cable jam nuts. Then remove the cable from the retainer. Next, disconnect the electrical connections by pulling at the base of the connectors. To avoid damage, do not pull the wires themselves. Finally, unscrew and remove the P-clamp that holds the wire harness to the driver body. Set this aside for later use. Now take the throttle junction box, unscrew one side and loosen the other in order to rotate the cover out of the way. Orient the junction box with the pre-installed cable toward the top of the driver and use the M5 10mm screw you'll find inside the box to attach the junction box to the hole on the side of the driver. Next, route the cable from the two throttles through this area under your middle handle and toward the junction box. Now, connect the pre-installed throttle cable into the engine throttle body by sliding the throttle cable into the slot of the metal retainer and then pull it so that the cable head seats into the retainer. Place the jam nuts over the plastic retainer and tighten snugly with two 10mm wrenches. Take one of your two throttle cables and thread it into the open slot of the junction box slide mechanism closest to the engine. This will allow you extra room to fasten the jam nuts. Pull the cable so that the head seats into the slide mechanism. Place the jam nuts over the junction box retaining slot and tighten them snugly with two 10mm wrenches. Repeat the process for the second throttle cable in the remaining slot. Once complete, actuate both throttle triggers to verify you have full range of motion for both the junction box sliding mechanism and the engine throttle body, then close the junction box. If you do not appear to have a full range of motion, you'll need to make adjustments to your throttle cables. When properly installed and adjusted, the throttle body will fully open and hit the stop block when actuated, as seen here. When fully closed, it will rest on the set screw, as seen here. If the throttle body doesn't fully open when actuating either throttles, adjust the cable jam nuts as follows. Loosen the nut in the junction box a bit, moving it farther into the junction box, and then tighten the outside nut until the jam nuts are snug. Actuate this throttle and check if the throttle body is now fully engaged. If not, repeat the process. If the throttle body does not fully close in the release position, the junction box throttle cable connected to the engine is too tight. Move the jam nuts from a forward position towards a backwards position. Now, ensure that the throttle is fully open when the junction box's internal slider reaches the end of its range of motion when you actuate each handle. After adjusting the main junction box throttle cable, verify that the throttles are actuating properly, and if not, readjust as necessary. Once everything is properly adjusted, reinstall the junction box cover. Once the throttle is properly adjusted, the wiring harness will need connected. The end with 4 wires connects to the 4 wires coming from the throttles and stop switches. They are paired together, male ends from the throttle to female ends from the harness, and vice versa. The end of the wiring harness with 2 wires connects to the 2 wires coming from the engine. Now reinstall the air filter cover. Attach the clip to secure the junction box throttle cable to the hole on top of the driver housing. And finally, use the included zip ties to secure the throttle cables to the driver handles. The ends of the zip ties may be trimmed once positioned. Go back and verify that all connections and hardware are secure before and after the initial use of the driver.